Hi, welcome to English Journey Adventures. Today's story begins with a parking lot, a sleeping father, and a secret that hurt before it healed. Listen and follow. This is I found my father sleeping in his car. My name is Mateo. I was 16 when I found my father sleeping in his car behind my school, near a small clinic I had never noticed. It was early morning. The windows were gray with fog, and his work jacket was folded under his head like a pillow. At first, I thought he was sick. Then two boys from my class saw him and started laughing with their phones out. One of them whispered, "Is that your dad? Does he live there now?" My face became hot before I could answer. Dad woke up when I tapped the window. His eyes were tired, and for 1 second he looked ashamed of me seeing him. He opened the door and said, "Mateo, go to class. We will talk at home." But his voice sounded like someone closing a door. By lunch, half the school knew. The story became bigger every hour. People said my father was homeless. Someone sent a picture to a group chat. In the photo, Dad looked small inside the old blue car. I wanted to defend him, but I also wanted the picture to disappear. Shame is strange. It can make love feel quiet. That evening, our apartment looked normal. The kitchen light worked. There was soup on the stove. My little brother Nico was doing homework. Dad came home late, washed his hands, and asked about school as if nothing had happened. I could not pretend. I said, "Why were you sleeping in the car? Are we losing the apartment?" Nico looked up from his notebook. Dad put down the spoon. "No," he said. "We are not losing our home." But he did not look at me. I asked, "Then why lie? Everyone laughed at you today." They laughed at us. The words came out harder than I planned. Dad closed his eyes for a moment. "Not every hard thing is a lie," he said. "Some hard things are private." My father, Victor, fixed buses for the city. He left before sunrise and came home smelling like metal, oil, and cold air. He was proud of his job. He said buses carried people to work, to school, and sometimes to a better day. But that month, he started taking extra shifts. He stopped eating breakfast with us. He sold his old watch and a box of tools. When I asked about the tools, he said, I had too many. That was impossible. My father never had too many tools. One night, I found a folded paper in his jacket pocket. It was not a bill. It was a schedule from the central bus station. On the back, someone had written, Platform 7, 11:40 p.m., 3 workers, Little English, ask for Victor. The next Friday, I followed him. I know that was wrong, but the picture from school kept burning in my mind. Dad did not go to a bar. He did not go to a secret apartment. He went to the old bus station downtown. The station was cold and bright. People slept on benches. Suitcases stood beside tired feet. Announcements echoed above us. Dad stood near Platform 7 with a paper cup of coffee. A man and 2 younger workers came toward him, carrying plastic bags. They looked lost. One held a paper with an address. Dad smiled and said slowly, "I am Victor. I can help." I hid behind a vending machine and listened. The workers had been cheated by a contractor who took their pay and disappeared. They needed to reach a free legal clinic early in the morning. If they missed the first line, they might wait another month. Dad drove them in his car, then parked in the back lot the clinic shared with my school. He gave them bread, water, and the phone number of a Spanish-speaking volunteer. Then I understood why he was behind my school. Dad slept there because the clinic opened at 6, and the workers were afraid to wait alone. He was not homeless. He was keeping watch. He used the hours between his night shift and morning shift to help people who had no one. I stepped out before I could stop myself. "Dad," I said. His face changed from surprise to worry. He walked to me quickly. "Mateo, you should not be here." I said, "You should have told me." Dad looked at the sleeping workers in the car. "Their story is not mine to tell," he said. "And I did not want you to carry my tiredness." I wanted to stay angry, but the anger had no place to stand. All I could see was his old jacket under his head. He told me the truth in a quiet voice. Years before, when Mom was sick, a bus driver helped him find the right clinic. That man waited with him all night and never asked for money. Dad said, "I promised myself I would be that person for someone else." At home, I apologized. I said, I was embarrassed. Dad nodded. "I know. I was embarrassed too." That answer surprised me. I thought fathers were not allowed to feel shame. But his eyes were wet in the kitchen light. He said, "I am not rich. I get tired. Sometimes I make bad plans. But I am not ashamed of helping." On Monday, the picture was still in the group chat. A boy showed it to me and laughed. This time, I did not look away. I said, "Yes, that is my father." He was helping people who had nowhere safe to wait. The table became quiet. Someone asked, "Why would he do that?" I said, "Because some people remember what it feels like to need help." 2 weeks later, our school held a community morning. Workers from the bus station came with a volunteer from the legal clinic. The volunteer thanked a city mechanic who had brought people safely to the clinic for months. She did not say his name at first. Then one of the workers stood up. In careful English, he said, "Victor helped us when we were afraid." Everyone turned. My father was standing near the back wall in his clean work shirt, trying to disappear. The principal invited him forward. Dad shook his head, but Nico shouted, "That is our dad," and the room laughed kindly. Dad walked to the front slowly. He did not give a big speech. He only said, "A bus is not the only thing that can carry people." Teachers clapped. Students clapped too. I saw the boy who had taken the photo lower his eyes. After that day, Dad still worked too much. Life did not become perfect because people clapped for one morning. But something changed in me. I stopped thinking that tiredness was failure. Sometimes tiredness is the shape of love after a long day. Now, when I see an old car in a parking lot, I do not laugh. I wonder what story is resting inside it. I found my father sleeping in his car, and I thought I had found shame. But really, I had found a secret kind of courage. Thank you for watching English Journey Adventures. Listen again for stronger English. Read the words. Repeat the lines. And remember, a tired person can still be carrying a brave story.